The following video is brought to you by Sports Radio New York.
Now by our final guest of the evening from InsideHockey.com, Kevin Greenstein. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing tonight, Brad?
I'm doing well. Good to speak to you, and want to talk a little New York area hockey with you, starting with the New York Islanders. And what is wrong with the New York Islanders? They can't seem to win a hockey game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just brutal. And the situation there, I mean, you certainly look at the team, and there's obviously a lot of potential in the lineup. But it's going to take some time for it to gel. You've got some talented players that they're really not getting the most out of just yet. I think they're, you know, if you looked at it from a standpoint of a pure hockey perspective, they're probably a couple of years away from being competitive. But the real problem is the situation off the ice. And I think that that's probably got to, at least to some degree, weigh on what's happening on the ice right now as well.
How do you see the Lighthouse situation being resolved?
You know, I'm really not sure at this point, but if I had my choice, if I had my, opportunity to make a recommendation for how this situation would be resolved, I would suggest that if that arena is going to be built in Brooklyn for the New Jersey or soon-to-be Brooklyn Nets, that it would make the most sense for the Islanders to play there as well.
Wow. Wow, that would certainly break the heart of a lot of fans on Long Island.
Well, the thing is, from the perspective of those fans on Long Island, I completely understand that. But at the same time, Brooklyn is still a part of, geographically a part of Long Island, and the arena would be at the end of the Long Island Railroad line that lands in Atlantic Avenue, Flatbush in Brooklyn. So you're talking about a situation where, yes, it would be hard for the fans to swallow the team no longer playing in Nassau, Suffolk County, but at the same time, the team would be more accessible to a lot of fans who could get there by public transportation that can't right now.
I would suspect if they did move to Brooklyn, there would be an outcry from Long Island fans, maybe even to change the name.
Well, I mean, Brooklyn is part of the geography of Long Island for sure, and they're called the New York Islanders, so you could certainly make the case they could keep things as they are. I think it would be a shame to change the team's name and to change the team's logo and to change all of what the Islanders stand for. I mean, you're talking about an organization that won 4 Stanley Cups. The last time a team that won the Stanley Cup was disbanded was the Ottawa Senators, the first team to win the Stanley Cup in the era where it was the NHL champion, and that's all the way back, I think, 1926-27.
Right.
Obviously, the Senators were reclaimed and brought back into the NHL in the early 90s, but it would be a real shame to have a former Stanley Cup winner that's actually as recent as the Islanders are be disbanded. I think from a historical perspective, it would be a true shame.
Now, what about on the ice? I mean, John Tavares is sort of the center of attention as far as Islander fans go. What is your first impression of Tavares?
It's excellent. I think you're talking about a really dynamic playmaker. Obviously, there's talk about his skating ability being a liability. But, I mean, we're talking about a player who I think you really need to focus on the things that he does really well. And to me, I look back at a guy like Adam Oates, who was a sensational playmaker, maybe not the best of skaters, maybe not the best of a shot. And I think that Tavares has the ability to be all that Adam Oates was and substantially more. So, the skating ability, the questions about that, I think, are overstated. And I think what we've seen so far is a strong indication that the best is yet to come.
Now, one player that has definitely benefited from the addition of John Tavares is Kyle Okposo. So far, Okposo has points in all 6 games that the Islanders have played. He seems to have taken his game up to another level this year. What do you see from Okposo?
Well, I look at Okposo and I see one of the best young players in the game. I love the young power forward types. He reminds me a lot of Dustin Brown, who's emerged as a star in Los Angeles. And I think the Islanders can expect something very similar. Okposo's a big, strong kid. He goes to the net hard, and he is the perfect line mate for Tavares. And I think that's a big reason why Tavares has enjoyed some early success. So, I mean, we can certainly say that
And we seem to have lost Kevin Greenstein at the moment. So we will try to reconnect with Kevin and continue our discussion here on New York Hockey Talk. This is Brad Kurtzberg in for Rob Cole, and here at 1240 WGBB. And New York Hockey Talk discussion will hopefully be continued in just a moment. We will continue our Islanders discussion with Kevin, and then, of course, we will also have a discussion about both the Devils and the New York Rangers. Don't forget, the next show for New York Hockey Talk will be coming up on November 1st. That's Sunday, November 1st at 9 p.m., and Rob Cole will be back along with Matt Sweetwood of NJDevs.com, and ex-Islander Derek King will be among the guests scheduled to appear with Rob on November 1st. So make sure that you tune in for that one. And one thing that the Islanders seem to have a problem with so far that I've seen on the ice is their defensive play, and in particular, Brandon Witt has struggled early in the season. His plus-minus rating not looking very good, and I think part of the reason that the Islanders' goaltenders have struggled early in the season is because they've had some defensive breakdowns in front of those goaltenders that they have not been used to seeing. Biron when he was playing with the Flyers, and of course Rolison with the Edmonton Oilers. Both of those teams a little bit stronger defensively than the New York Islanders right now. We're trying to reestablish our connection with Kevin Greenstein. Kevin, are you back?
I am back. I don't really know what happened. Yes, I am back. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, great. Well, glad we got you back. I was talking a little bit about the Islanders' defensive woes early in the season. I think, from my observation, their defense has sort of created some of the difficulties we see with both of their new goalies, Rollinson and Barone.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, nobody expected either Rollinson or Barone to be a star. I mean, they're both obviously stopgap solutions, with the hope being that DiPietro will at some point be the answer in goal for the Islanders. Brendan Wood is one of my favorite players in the National Hockey League. He's a great guy to get an interview with after a game. You know that he's going to be candid with you, but he's definitely lost a step, and that lost step is creating huge problems for his game. He's definitely finding it difficult to keep up. It's a fast game today. It was a fast game coming out of the lockout, and I think the step that he's lost since that point has really hurt him.
And I also think he's just not a good...
The preceding video was a production of Sports Radio New York. To view this interview in its entirety and to access all Sports Radio New York content, just visit sportsradiony.com.